Hare Krishna, my name is Alakananda Devidasi. I am an initiated disciple of His Grace Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhuji, who is a direct disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In this video, I shall give you a brief summary of chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita as it is, Devotional Service. Bhagavad Gita is the ancient sacred text spoken by the Supreme Lord Krishna to the Kshatriya warrior Arjuna to motivate him to do his duty of fighting in a righteous war to uphold dharma, that is, justice. Bhagavad Gita contains the essence of all the Vedic wisdom and serves as a great spiritual guide helping us to lead our lives in accordance with Lord Krishna's instructions so that we may achieve eternal peace and happiness. Srila Prabhupada has given the most authentic English translation of the Bhagavad Gita in his book Bhagavad Gita as it is. We must read his book to clearly understand and follow Lord Krishna's teachings and make our lives truly and eternally sublime. In verse number 1, Arjuna asks Lord Krishna what is more perfect, devotional service to him or worship of the impersonal Brahman. Srila Prabhupada nicely explains in his purport that there are two types of transcendentalists, the impersonalists and the personalists. The impersonalist meditates on the impersonal aspect of the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Lord Krishna, whereas the personalist worships the beautiful personal form of Lord Krishna. The impersonal Brahman refers to the bright effulgence called Brahma Jyoti that emanates from the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, who is situated in his spiritual abode. In verse number 2, Lord Krishna replies that those who fix their minds on his personal form and worship him with great and transcendental faith are considered to be the most perfect. Such devotees are constantly engaged in any of the 9 processes of devotional service, such as hearing and chanting the holy names, glories and pastimes of the Lord, remembering him, serving his lotus feet, performing deity worship, offering him prayers and obeisances, acting as his servant, acting as his friend, and completely surrendering to him. A pure devotee dedicates all his activities to Lord Krishna, and such action is called samadhi. In the subsequent verses, Lord Krishna describes the impersonal form as the unmanifested, all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable conception of the Absolute Truth. Those who meditate on the impersonal form by strictly controlling the mind and senses and engaging in welfare activities for all also attain the Supreme Lord, but after a very long time. It is an indirect and tedious process that is not easy for the embodied souls. In his purport to verse number 5, Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains that those who meditate on the impersonal Brahman are called Jnana Yogis, whereas those who render loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna are called Bhakti Yogis. The process of Bhakti Yoga is direct and simple compared to the process of Jnana Yoga, which is difficult and time consuming. Since the conditioned soul is embodied since time immemorial, the concept of meditating on the impersonal aspect of the Lord is difficult. It is easier for him to perceive the Lord in his deity form and render personal service to the deity. The deity form is, however, not material, although made of material elements such as wood, metal, stone, clay, and so on. The Supreme Lord actually exists in the deity form called Archa Vigraha, which is worshipped sincerely by his devotees. The Archa Vigraha is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord through which he kindly accepts the service of his devotees. It is convenient for the conditioned souls to approach him in that way. Since the Lord is absolute, the deity form is completely spiritual. The worship of the impersonal Brahman is against our nature as the spirit souls, parts and parcels, and eternal servants of the Supreme Lord Krishna. The The spirit soul by nature is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss, similar to the Supreme Lord. In the impersonal conception, there are no reciprocal loving exchanges with the Lord, and hence it becomes boring after some time, and there is a risk of fall down from the spiritual platform. Verses 6 and 7 are important. Ye tu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha mayaveshita chetasam. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Srila Prabhupada nicely explains that the devotees are fortunate because they will soon be delivered from material existence by the Lord. A pure devotee realizes that he is subordinate to the Lord and must therefore render loving service to him. If a human being does not render service to the Lord, he has to serve Maya, the Lord's material energy, which traps us into the bodily conception of life and keeps us entangled in the material miseries, lifetime after lifetime. Since the Lord can be understood only by devotional service, it is essential to serve him. One should remember Lord Krishna always and work only for him to reach him. A simple way of developing attraction for the Lord is by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is a very auspicious and transcendental mantra that is specifically recommended for the present age of Kali Yuga to become liberated from the miserable material cycles of birth, death, old age, and disease, and to eventually go back home to Godhead in the spiritual world to experience eternity, knowledge, and pure bliss forever. The devotee need not practice Ashtanga Yoga to transfer himself to the spiritual planets. The Lord personally delivers his sincere devotees, just as a loving parent takes very good care of his children. One who is devoted to Lord Krishna can attain all the benefits derived from other yogic processes, mental speculation, rituals, sacrifices, charities, and so on. Just by practicing Krishna consciousness, that is Bhakti Yoga, sincerely under the guidance of a bona fide guru, one could reach the supreme spiritual destination easily and happily by the Lord's mercy. The supreme destination cannot be attained by any other method. In verse number 8, Lord Krishna assures Arjuna that by fixing his mind and intelligence on him, he will always live with him. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains that a devotee connects with Lord Krishna directly through devotional service and thus rises above the material plane. He actually lives in Krishna consciousness. The holy name is non-different from the Lord, and so when he chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Lord Krishna and his internal potency are actually dancing on the tongue of the devotee. By offering his food to the Lord and eating the remnants, the devotee becomes Krishnaized. In the subsequent verses, Lord Krishna offers several choices to Arjuna and to all of us. If we cannot fix the mind on the Lord without deviation, we could follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga and thus develop a desire to attain him. Srila Prabhupada clearly explains in his purport to verse number 9 that two processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated here. One is spontaneous love and attachment for Lord Krishna, and the other is practice of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to Lord Krishna by strictly following the rules and regulations to eventually develop pure love and attachment for him. For one who has not yet developed spontaneous love for the Lord, the practice of Bhakti Yoga purifies the mind and senses which are contaminated by sense gratification. When purified, the mind and senses can directly come in contact with Lord Krishna, and thus the dormant natural love for him is awakened. The process of Bhakti Yoga is best carried out under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master who is in the Parampara system, starting from Lord Krishna himself. It involves rising early, taking bath, offering prayers to the Gurus and Lord Krishna, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra on the Japamala, offering flowers to the deity, Tulasi worship, cooking and offering bhoga to the deity, honoring prasadam, reading and hearing about Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees, following the regulative principles of no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, and so on. By this method, any person can rise to the level of love of God and surely enter the spiritual kingdom of God. Lord Krishna further tells Arjuna that if he cannot practice Bhakti Yoga with the rules and regulations, he could just try to work for him because it will help him to come to the perfect stage. Srila Prabhupada nicely gives practical examples of working for Lord Krishna by helping those who are involved in the propagation of Krishna consciousness, by providing land, labor, time, capital, etc. for building temples and centers for worship of Lord Krishna and for educating people about the importance of Krishna consciousness, helping in organizing festivals, publication, printing and distribution of Krishna conscious literature, and so on. Such voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will surely help one to rise to a higher state of love for the Lord and thus attain spiritual perfection. If one cannot work for the Lord due to personal or family restrictions, he should give up all results of work and become self-situated. He could donate his wealth and time for a good cause. This helps to purify the mind gradually and enables one to understand Krishna consciousness. Examples of such activities are social service, community service, national service, and sacrifice for one's country. Srila Prabhupada adds that if one sacrifices for the supreme cause, then even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Krishna, he will gradually know about it by the sacrificial method. In verse number 12, Lord Krishna says that if one cannot give up results of work, he could engage in cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of fruits of action, because it helps one to attain peace of mind. Srila Prabhupada explains in verse number 12 purport that there are two methods of devotional service, direct and indirect. The direct method involves serving the Supreme Lord Krishna with love and devotion under the guidance of a bona fide guru. The indirect, slow, step-by-step method is for those who cannot do the direct method. It involves renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of Brahman, Supersoul, and Bhagavan. Lord Krishna, however, stresses on the direct method, that is, surrendering to Him, obeying Him, and serving Him with love and devotion. Verses 13 and 14. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirankaraha samadukha sukha kshami santushtah satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nishchayaha mayarpita mano buddhir yo madbhaktaha sa me priyaha. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport that the transcendental qualifications of a pure devotee are described here. A pure devotee is not envious of anyone and is not disturbed in any situation. He understands that his suffering is due to his own past misdeeds, and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Krishna, his suffering has been very much reduced. Hence, he stays calm and peaceful despite many distressful situations. He is kind to everyone, including his enemy. Nirmama means giving up the sense of proprietorship. He understands that he is not the material body and hence does not attach much importance to the bodily pains and troubles. Since he does not identify himself with the body, he is freed from the conception of false ego and is equipoised in happiness and distress. He is tolerant and satisfied with whatever he gets by the Lord's mercy. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty and hence is always joyful. He is the completely perfect mystic because he is fixed in the instructions received from the spiritual master. He is determined because his senses are controlled. He is fully conscious that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and hence he fixes his mind and intelligence on him. Such a high standard of devotional service is very rare, but a pure devotee becomes situated in that stage by strictly following the regulative principles of devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Lord Krishna, who is pleased with all his activities in full Krishna consciousness. Verse number 17 also is an important verse. Yo na harshyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati Shubha Shubha Parityagi Bhaktiman Yahasa Me Priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Lord Krishna further describes the qualities of a pure devotee in this verse. A pure devotee is not happy or distressed by material gain or loss, nor does he desire to have children or disciples, and is not disappointed by not getting them. He is transcendental to all auspicious, inauspicious, and sinful activities. He accepts all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, and nothing can stop him in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Lord Krishna. Verses 18 and 19. Samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayo sitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vivarjitaha tulyaninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketah sthiramatir bhaktiman me priyo naraha. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains that a devotee is free from bad association and transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, happiness and distress. He is patient and tolerant in all situations. He is silent, meaning he talks only about topics related to Lord Krishna. The most essential speech for a devotee is to speak for the sake of the Lord. A devotee does not hanker for palatable foodstuffs or comfortable housing. He is happy with whatever he gets by the Lord's mercy. He is fixed in his determination and knowledge. The descriptions of the qualifications of a devotee are repeated in these verses to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications. One cannot become a pure devotee without good qualifications. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahad gunah. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. A devotee does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these good qualities, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him to develop them. In verse number 20, Lord Krishna reaffirms that those who follow the imperishable path of devotional service and engage themselves completely with faith, making him the supreme goal, are very dear to him. Srila Prabhupada nicely summarizes that according to Lord Krishna, the best process of spiritual realization is devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Through good association, one develops attachment for pure devotional service, accepts a bona fide spiritual master, begins to hear and chant and follow the regulative principles under his guidance, and thus develops faith, attachment, and devotion by engaging in transcendental loving service to Lord Krishna. The impersonal conception of the Absolute Truth is recommended only until one surrenders himself for self realization, that is, when he does not have a chance to associate with a pure devotee. Impersonal conception is a difficult and tedious process and hence not recommended by the Lord. One who is fortunate to associate with a pure devotee and develop a desire to directly engage in pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna is on the supremely blissful and quick path of spiritual perfection. He need not worry about material necessities because they will be automatically taken care of by the grace of the Lord. He will be able to serve the Lord favorably and eventually qualify himself to go back home to Godhead in the spiritual world. That was the summary of chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita as it is. In my next video, I shall talk to you about chapter 13. Thank you. Hare Krishna.